Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of Positive-Xperience, the one place that is here to serve you who are struggling with reconnecting to yourself after going through a divorce. We're all looking to thrive in life. That was my experience when I went through a divorce. So the question is, what makes us thrive in life after such an experience? Now, I know that it's not the same for all of us. So I do hope this might inspire you, or at least serve you on your mission towards a better version of you, towards finding a life of purpose, of meaning, of joy and love and courage in everything. So that is my definition of it. Thriving in life. It's all the good stuff, all the fun parts. And not the fun parts as well, because that's our learning curve. That's our learning experience. There's always something to be learned or to be thought about, or how we can improve ourselves constantly. It's a never-ending journey. But before I dive in for today, let me just share a little bit about me so that you know where I'm coming from. My name is Flemming Schmidt. I'm a proud dad. I'm a life coach. I have gone through a divorce on my own almost 10 years ago, and that was kind of the beginning of a new life for me. Well, not at first, but I really struggled with getting back on my feet again after going through a divorce. I really hit rock bottom. It was so hard, so difficult to do everything. Living life, handling all of the things going on in my mind, and my heart was kind of bleeding, was hurting. And I had to kind of get through all of that. But through mentoring, coaching, personal development, and looking in, I found the answers that I was looking for. And I found a path back to a life that's full of joy, love, and courage today. And I appreciate it every day. And my life is thriving today. It's completely different as to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. So for me, it definitely made a huge impact. And what I'm creating here with this podcast on Positive-Xperience is simply sharing my personal story, my personal discoveries, findings on what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And if this might serve you or just inspire you a tiny bit to make a difference in your life, or something that you find to be useful, I mean, use it, take it, and make a difference for yourself. In the end, we are all responsible for our own happiness, our own success. Always look in to find the answer. Every time you point your index finger towards someone, if you want to accuse someone or you point at something, you have 3 fingers that are pointing right back at you. So always have that in mind. Every time you point at something with your index finger, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. So, and the metaphor for that, never accuse anyone for where you are in life other than you. It's not an external thing, it's an internal thing. Alright, I think I was kind of carried away there. So, pardon me. Though the question is of the day. The question of the day is, this is my journey. I am doing this podcast. I think I've mentioned it before, but my journey, as I mentioned before, began 10 years ago when I was looking at life in a different perspective, and I didn't have the experience that I have today. When I look back, I see myself as a insecure kid, even early adult in his 20s, actually also in his 30s. He's very insecure, he's not believing in himself, and he has big dreams, but I didn't know how to get there at all. So it's such a delightful thing to listen to people's stories. The thing that kind of comes again and again, or kind of is repeated, is that insecurity and that longing for a dream, however, unable to take the right actions or to do the things or get motivated or inspired constantly to make that difference. that is kind of the same story. Might have some different colors, or the walls are a bit different in the storytelling, but the essence of the story is the same. That is actually the reason for me doing what I'm doing here today with this podcast and the Positive-Xperience. I know that it had called something else previously and it had changed the name, but for me it was a process to figuring out which direction do I want to go. And I found my direction now. And I'm very proud of it, and I'm really looking forward. And my story is so ordinary, everyday thing. A lot of people find themselves in this situation, and I thought it would be a good thing that we have kind of a community that shares or supports one another, because you shouldn't be alone in the time of struggle. Basically, you shouldn't be alone in the time of struggle. There should be someone that you can go to, that you can chat with, that you can talk to, that you can kind of share your perspective and get some a friendly kick in the butt, if you will, just to get reminded of, hey, don't feel sorry for yourself. Get back in the game and do something different for you. I think I've mentioned this before, but if you want to do something you never done, you gotta do something you never done. It's a great saying, and it kind of hits the nail on the head. If we want change, we gotta look in a different direction, or we gotta take a different path. Because fact is, you're here watching this show looking for change. Not watching the show, sorry. Listening to this show, and you want change. But apparently, or correct me if I'm wrong, but if you look back a few months, maybe a year, you kind of did the same thing over and over again, and you ended up the exact same spot. Isn't that right? In the grand scale of things, isn't that right? I mean, I know it's for me, when I looking back, before my divorce and before in my 20s and my 30s, the things I did back then, it was kind of a repeated pattern. Maybe not day to day, but within 6 months or so, maybe a year, or maybe a 2 years time period, I kind of did the same things over and over again, and I ended up kind of in the same spot. Always at the spot where I had these dreams, these vision for myself of success, or wanting to achieve something bigger or something better, or I wanted to make an impact and stuff like that. But I always ended up at the same spot, figuring out how the heck am I going to approach this? What do I need to do in order to get to that place? And I believe that a lot of people are struggling with the exact same thing. Might not be that it's how to start, but it might be the consistency of it. It might be the connection to a purpose, a meaning. It might be connecting to the necessity of why it's necessary for you to make a difference in the world. Is that more a personal thing, or is that connecting to something that's bigger than you and me? I would say the last thing is definitely the better way to go. If you're connecting to something that is bigger than you and me, and you just do your thing because it's fun and not because you want money or fame. See, that's the real thing. If you do something like starting a business, starting a movement, or if you're sharing things from your heart, and if you making an effort without expecting anything in return, it brings you joy. That should be your path to go. It might not make you a millionaire overnight. I mean, it's only a few people that have succeeded in those things, but it takes time. It requires hard work, and being consistent is a key element if you want to contribute or reach the next level of whatever that might be. It might be a business, it might be a personal journey inside, it might be to create your lasting legacy. It could be regarding to your health, could be discipline, it could be connections, relationships with your friend, so on and so on and so on. But imagine, but think about this. I think that you know someone who's very, very passion driven about what they do as a career choice versus someone who's just having an 8 to 9 or 9 to 5 job at a factory or whatever. There's a huge difference in the energy that they provide and they give. And there are people who are really satisfied by having a job and finding that to be very grateful just to have a job, being able to pay bills, go on vacations. And then they geek out on some hobby they really are passionate about. It's not about the money, but it's about the topic, the subject, the things that they share in a community that with like-minded geeks, if you will. Take these guys and girls who are very passionate about modeling model train. How do you say that? These small landscapes they build in the basement, and they have everything with you know what I mean. These guys very, very passionate about trains and landscaping and building and riding and seeing those trains and the history of when those trains were built and when they were commissioned out of service and so on. Very, very fascinating to see people geeking out on that. And that's the same with cooking. I have a brother who's a chef. He's geeking out on cooking. It's very fascinating to watch him geek out on his, dream world scenario, fantasy kingdom that he has created. It's just such an inspiring thing to see when people really geek out on something they're really, really passionate about, and they don't have a focus on money or fame. It's not about focus on money, fame. It's about contribution. It's about creating something together. It's about making an impact or just following your passion. It brings you purpose. That is where you want to go. And that is why I'm doing what I'm doing with this podcast, The Positive-Xperience. I want to share things with you guys. I want to hear from you how you are doing and if this is going to help you or if you want to have something more. I went through, as I mentioned, a divorce, and it was pardon me the the language, shitty experience. However, it was an experience that has changed my life around for the good, for the better. So I'm forever grateful for all the things that I have been able to take with me and how that has changed and had a huge impact on my life. If I hadn't met these people at the time that I met these people, I wouldn't have been where I am today. I'm not a guy who is believing in what if situations, but what if I have done such and such, or if only I had yada yada yada. It doesn't work for me because I can't change the past anyway. However, I can look back at the past, say, all right, those steps didn't work out. How can I avoid doing the same things today? And again, how can I improve so I totally avoid them tomorrow or next week? So that is personal growth in a nutshell, becoming a better version of yourself. And for me, doing these podcasts is two things. One thing is sharing knowledge. I want to share knowledge because if someone out there could use or benefit from these things that I'm sharing here, hallelujah, I feel that I'm serving my purpose of adding more positivity in life, and definitely with a twist on going through a divorce or life after a divorce, thriving in life. So that's the one thing. That's sharing knowledge. The second thing is that I gave myself a challenge. Now, I like challenges, and I like to challenge myself. So I gave myself the challenge, or I was asked to do this, to make an episode every day for a year, around 10 or 15 minutes or so. But doing that is also documenting my own process. documenting my own steps. Now, if you go in and listen to some of the first shows that I did on this channel, I have kept them all online, so feel free to check that out if you will. I think we are around 80-ish, 90-ish episode at the time, so there are a few minutes to listen to. Anyhow, if you want to go in there and you find the first episode to be like it is, that's the first. And today I'm here doing this version of the show and how I'm talking and speaking and what I'm talking about and stuff like that. There should be a process happening from day 1 to day 80 or 100. And imagine going forward, episode 200, episode 300, episode 365. That would be the last one. Then that's not the last show, but then I have made a show for a whole year. Every day for a whole year. That would be something. That would be a personal goal of mine. So I'm using this podcast also as a documentary to show others that it takes time to go through a process. Sometimes it takes time to figure out where you want to go in life. Sometimes it just takes time to figure out how to structure yourself in order to get to the goal that you want to go to. And again, if this can inspire, motivate, or serve you on your journey, I would be very honored to be a part, just a small part of it. Just a small part of it. But please, find me on social media, connect with me, or just send me a direct message and let me know what you think of these shows and if they have provided any kind of value for you. All right. This is it for me today. I think I have reached my limit of how much I wanted to say. So thank you for listening and thank you for taking a few minutes or 15 or 20 minutes, out of your busy schedule just to listen to me, hear what I have to say. And I'm really, really honored that you are supporting this show. So thank you for that. Go out, enjoy the weather, enjoy life, be safe. Stay positive and live fully. Talk to you soon.